Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today what I wanted to do is I wanted to take a look at the basics of the English opening and basic ideas, plans, the best squares for the pieces, where pieces usually go, and stuff like that. So first of all, if you play the English opening, you're probably aiming for the positional play, not for some tactical madness. So that's one thing you have to know before you start playing it. And of course, it starts with the move c4. And today we're not going to take a look at, I mean, any variations that black has. Black has many options like e5, he can play knight to f6, he can play g6, he can play e6, he can play c6. You get the idea. He has many responses, of course, because it's the first move. And I'm just going to tell you basic plans and stuff like that. So with this move c4, you're basically fighting for this d5 square. You want to have control of this d5 square in the English opening, and you're also going to see that this pawn is not going to be the only piece looking at this d5 square. So let's just say, to show you white's plans, that black plays the move e5. Now, in the English opening, one of the things you're going to do is you're going to fianchetto your light squared bishop to the square g3. So the move here would be g3. And again, let's just say black develops a knight, which is a totally reasonable move and one of the main variations. What you're going to do is you're going to develop your bishop to g2 square. Now, okay, let me erase those arrows here. And this bishop here is basically your best piece. You almost never want to exchange this bishop because it's also a very good protector of your king. You can imagine that you're going to castle here, and if you trade this bishop, then some light squares here might be weak around the king. So you usually don't want to exchange this bishop here. And as you can see, it's a very nice bishop looking down this diagonal. And yeah, it's a main piece in the English opening. And also I have to mention, of course, that it also looks to this d5 square. As I said, this pawn, this bishop, both look to this d5 square. And why is this d5 square so important in the English opening? Now the point is that your knight can sometimes jump to this d5 square from where it's an active piece, it's on a centralized square. And you're also preventing black's pieces from jumping to this useful square, and sometimes also you're preventing him from playing d5 without exchanging the pawns here and opening your c file. And yeah, that's basically it. I'm sorry if there are too many arrows. I'm just going to erase them. Okay, so far so good. Let's say black just develops his knight to c6, which is a reasonable and normal move. Now a reasonable move here for white should be knight to c3. Now you're just developing a knight. This is where your knight here from b1 is almost always going to go in the English opening. That's basically where it always goes. This is a square for the knight because it's a very good knight here. It's looking at this d5 square again, and also this e4 square, also maybe sometimes b5 square, and it's really a good knight here. So this placement of the pieces here, as you can see on the board for white, is a really typical placement for the English opening. And if you're going to play the English opening, you're going to see it a lot. So let's just say now that black does nothing. Let's say that black does nothing here, just to show you what white wants to do. Now it's usually the time to develop this knight and just quickly castle. So this knight usually goes to this f3 square, from where again it's looking at some central squares, but it can sometimes also go to this d2 square after a move such as e3 and then knight to d2, from where it also supports this move d4. So let's just take a look at first knight f3. And this is completely normal here. Let's say black does something and you just castle. Now from here you have different plans from which you can choose. One of them is just to play d3 and play rook to b1 and b4. Start marching your pawns up the board on the queen side, getting more space also, of course. And yeah, this is one plan. The other plan, for example, could be to, sometimes play d4, strike at the center. If he takes, you take with your knight, and you have a centralized knight here on this d4 square. You also open up your bishop. So this is all great. This is another great plan for white. And here still you can also play a move such as e3 and then d4. Support your push of the pawns in the center, challenging the center with your pawn. And when he recaptures, you can also take it with a pawn and have two pawns here in the center, which are going to be strong. So this is another plan. And as you can see, I showed you like 3 plans. You have really a lot of plans here in these positions. So it's a very interesting opening. You also have ideas of jumping there to this d5 square with your knight. This is a lot of times a useful idea to know, because from there, as you know, your knight is a very active piece and you want to have your knight here on this d5 square. But you have to do it at the right moment, of course. So this is basically your main setup. I have to say that in the English opening, there are a lot of times not very theoretical variations. And if you just develop like this, like I showed you here, you should be fine in most cases. You usually can't like screw it up in the English opening. You just have to know some basic plans like I showed you and some basic placement of the pieces. And now you may be asking yourself, where should my queen go in the English opening? The thing is that a lot of times it goes to this c2 square, and because black's rooks sometimes go to this d file and you don't want to have your queen on the same file as the rooks. And on this c2 square, for example, let's say black does something. If you play queen to c2, on this c2 square, it also, looks at this diagonal here, and it also prepares to connect rooks after the bishop moves somewhere, and probably bring them to some useful squares. So this is a usual placement for the queen and a pretty good one. Now sometimes the queen can also go to the, for example, let's say he plays something. Sometimes the queen also goes to this d2 square. But of course, after the bishop moves somewhere, let's just say here, for example, I just wanted to show you. Sometimes the queen can also go to this d2 square, from where it's also pretty useful. This usually works when black fianchettos his bishop here and has a pawn here. So you can play something like bishop to h6 and trade off his fianchettoed bishop. Now you might say, what should I do with my dark squared bishop? This is a lot of times a good question, because sometimes it goes to a square like e3, sometimes it goes to a square like g5, sometimes it goes to the square b2, and sometimes to a3. It really depends on a position, and if we're going to do English opening series, then I'm going to show you openings where, bishop to g5 is better or bishop to a3 is better. But for now, just remember that this piece sometimes also stays on this c1 square, because it's not so clear where it's supposed to go, and you would most probably first develop your queen, then your bishop here. This is one fun thing about the English opening. If you were thinking also what to do with your rooks, this is also a nice thing to know, of course. If black, let's just say, castles, let's just give us some moves to develop, so I will show you where to put your rooks. Let's say black castles, and we play, for example, queen to c2, he plays d6, let's just throw, random moves on the board. Bishop to, I don't know, e3. I mean, it's not a good move here, but just forget it. I just want to show you where you can put your rooks. For example, bishop to d2. And now I can finally show you where, when the rooks are connected, where they want to go. Now this rook here can go to this c file, which could open in some lines after, for example, black plays a move such as d5, you take and the file is opened. And the rook could do some useful stuff on this file. So this is one square for the rook, and the other square is also b1, from where you can push your pawns on the queen side and just get more space and just making queenside action. This is the idea in the English opening, because as you can see, your pawn structure is looking there, your bishop is looking there, you have your knights here, your bishop in the action, you have everything looking here at the queenside. So this is a really typical plan also. And now the other rook here, it sometimes stays on this f file. Um, in different positions, we can see sometimes even moves like f4, but it's not right here when we have our knight on the f3 square. And in these positions, when we don't have moves like f4, it can go to this d file here and support the push d4, for example, opening some files for the rook also. Or it can also go to this c file. If, for example, this rook goes to b file, this one goes to c file. And we have these rooks here on the files that are probably going to open. So now I hope that you know some basics about the English opening. If you have any questions or if you want me to continue the series on the English opening, just ask me in the comments and you know I'll answer you and we'll see how it goes. So thank you guys for watching and I'll see you in the next video.